Hi, I'm Rachel, and this is my AM reading post for Friday, October 16th, 2020. But I have a good reason, better than most, for submitting this a day late or, whatever, as usual, because on the real day of today, Saturday, October 17th, 2020, I had a flash fiction story published in Flash Fiction Magazine. Flash Fiction Magazine is a daily online magazine where, each day they publish a new story in Flash Fiction. They have a lot more going on as well, including robust commentary for the stories and a master's class for writing and editing and affiliate links. I think they're really billing themselves as a friendly, approachable place for writers, especially for writers who have had trouble with, form rejections all the time or what have you. And for me, I know I spoke about this, I think, on my quarterly wrap-up writing video. It was just so wonderful, even without the whole idea of publication, to be able to talk about my story in depth with one of the editors. And it's just such an invigorating feeling, but it's also very invigorating to see it published and that they, after working on it with me, decided they'd accept it. So I will link to that information down below. There's another reason why I might be focusing more on my writing than my reading in this video, because I did not finish a book this week. Womp womp. I am still chugging through The Poet King by Ilana C. Myer, the final book in her Harp and Ring sequence. I am really enjoying it. I think everything I said last week about wanting a propulsive fantasy read to get out of the doldrums, it holds up. I'm very invested when I'm reading it. That being said, I don't remember all of the details from the previous books, or sometimes when I'm reading, it's like, oh yeah, that happened, or that character, or that's how they fit together, or like I'll hear of one character and then remember later who that character is to other people. Basically I'm saying that sometime in the future I really want to reread the whole series back to back, but that's not stopping me from enjoying this one, especially since I think it's bringing together the last two books a lot, which took place mostly in two different places, and this one takes place with all of the characters in their different places, or a lot of them. And I get to go back to Rihanna, who is kind of like the Sansa Stark character. And I think even Myer saw a little bit of Sansa Stark in her as the cloistered young woman who was sort of taken for a ride in a bad way by life and then had to sort of buff up a bit, and has taken the reins on her own story in this book. And that's a lot of fun. There's a lot of political intrigue in these books, and I enjoy that. The military stuff is a little more on the back burner, so I like that as well. But in terms of the magic and lyricism, I think I understand it more on like a philosophical level, I guess, and understanding all the nooks and crannies of what's going on. And I think part of that is because Myer is a writer who doesn't want to explain magic like science, but other parts of it are that I've forgotten a lot of how the magic-based system works from the other two books, but I know that it's based in poetry and music, and I'm liking that as well. So yeah, I really just want to find a time to, finish this on up, because I'm really enjoying it. I've also started a book on audiobook, The Power by Naomi Alderman. I randomly went into the DC library to see what was available, and this one was available, and it's also been on my Goodreads list for a while, and I like to remove at least one book from that TBR per month. The Power is also technically fantasy in a different direction. It imagines a world where women become collectively, generally, more powerful than men because they are able to channel electricity through their hands. So suddenly we're more, on average, physically stronger or more dangerous. So there's a lot of commentary in there about, which gender has that power to be more dangerous and what you do with it. It's, I think, a little bit of a controversial book. I don't think everyone liked it that much. For the moment, I am enjoying it. I like Alderman's quirky writing style, the way that I think she does a lot of showing of her narrative. She's following several characters around and showing their stories. It's also, I guess it's just interesting to read about in this climate. I don't know, I guess I'm largely thinking of the American Supreme Court right now, and with RBG's passing and what she meant for women and our advancement versus the person who will be replacing her, and the retroactive steps that she might be taking on the bench. It's sort of on my mind. and also in terms of just other general stuff. For example, the BookTube Prize just ended, and so many of the nonfiction books were about violence against women and how prevalent that is. And this flips the script a little bit. I mean, actually, I was even listening to it on my way home, like a scene where one of the girls was using her electricity on someone, and this guy at the same time was trying to sidle in next to me and like interrupt me and like flirt or something. Like, I'm just trying to walk home, dude. And it's just weird that I was listening to that at the same time, because, you know, there's that sense of privilege that sometimes men have with women about, you know, just, you know, interrupting us even when we have headphones in. But anyway, I guess, I don't know, these themes are just a lot on my mind lately, and I like the writing style. I mean, it's obviously, you know, the whole conceit of it, you know, is out there, and we're following random individuals rather than thinking, hey, if suddenly all the women had this power, how would society as a whole and governments react? We're not really looking into that in a lot of detail, so it's not that type of story, but for what it is so far, I'm liking it. Anyway, hope to make headway on both of those soon, because next on the docket I have Unusual Bible Interpretations, Ruth, Esther, and Judith by Israel Drazin. This is a book that my sister graciously gave me a few years ago, because I'm always on the lookout for books about Jewish biblical themes, and I try to read them around high holidays, which was last month. But to be fair, I only read last year's book a couple of months ago, so I'm still doing okay, I hope, and I do hope to get to this one this month. It is relatively short. I will read from the flap. By examining the books of Ruth, Esther, and Judith with references to traditional and scholarly sources, Dr. Israel Drazin interprets the biblical text in ways that many readers will consider unusual. His objective analysis confronts challenging questions and presents logical explanations to issues that have perplexed readers of the Bible for centuries. The books of Ruth and Esther are biblical, while Judith was excluded from the biblical canon. Yet close readings of these three books reveals that it is the character of Judith, as opposed to Esther or Ruth, who most deserves the accolade of Jewish heroine. So, yeah, I mean, that is an interesting take. I mean, I'm more familiar, I think, with Esther and Ruth in terms of biblical stories even, and once again, I fell for this book. I was intrigued by this particular scholar's particular book because of the focus on female characters within the Bible from a Jewish perspective especially, so I'm looking forward to this. So that about covers it for me now, hoping to keep things short and sweet because I actually will be vamoosing soon and going to Baltimore because I have a date with my niece to watch some Harry Potter. I've only been waiting for this day for 7 years, ever since she was in the womb, to be able to finally share Harry Potter with her, and the day has come. Oh, Harry, the day has come. And I should hopefully be back later in the week to do a page 112 tag video, because hey, whenever you're behind on reading, it's always good to tack on another book, right? Oh boy. I hope you all are doing much better at your reading goals, and also at other goals that you're trying to get done this week. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time.